to AI Assembled. I'm Chris Doelle. I'm your host, your curator. But let's get to the AI news.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. And we're going to be pulling all our stories today from Chris Doelle and his fantastic podcast, AI Assembled. So, Chris, thanks for letting us borrow your insights.
Absolutely. Always happy to spread the AI gospel.
So much going on in the AI world these days. It can be hard to keep up with it all. But Chris always does a great job of curating the most impactful stories.
Well, thanks for that. But I think this week we've got some developments that are really going to shake things up. Ready to dive in.
Let's do it. The first one that caught my eye was about OpenAI and their pretty ambitious goal of reaching 1 billion users in the next year. That's like almost everyone on the internet.
Yeah, it's a bold move. It's a signal that they're not just aiming for niche applications. They want AI to be ubiquitous, to be a part of everyday life for the majority of the planet.
And what do you think that means for the average person? Like, how would that level of AI integration actually change things?
Well, think about it. More users mean more data, which leads to even more powerful AI models. It's a snowball effect that could result in some seriously sophisticated AI tools becoming available to everyone, not just researchers and developers, but, everyday people.
So we're talking about AI that could potentially help us with all sorts of things, right? Like work, education, even creativity.
Exactly. We could see AI assistants that are far more capable than anything we have today. AI tutors that personalize learning to your specific needs, and even AI tools that help you write music or create art. The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
It sounds exciting, but also a little intimidating, to be honest.
I get it. It's a lot to wrap your head around, but that's why we're here, to break it down and explore these developments together.
Well, speaking of breaking things down, let's talk about OpenAI's strategy for achieving this massive growth. They're not just focusing on user numbers. They're also branching out into new territories, like AI agents that can act on your behalf, building their own AI-powered search engine to compete with Google, even investing heavily in dedicated data centers. What's the thinking behind all that?
Well, it's all about building a comprehensive AI ecosystem, They're not just creating tools, they're creating the infrastructure to support those tools on a massive scale. And those data centers are crucial for handling the immense processing power needed for AI, especially as the user base grows.
And it takes money, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking billions of dollars in funding. They're securing capital from all sorts of sources, which indicates that investors see huge potential in what OpenAI is doing.
So it sounds like they're really going all in on this vision of a future where AI is everywhere.
They are, which is exciting, but also raises some important questions.
Like what?
Like, how do we ensure that AI is developed and used ethically? How do we address concerns about bias, privacy, and job displacement? These are big challenges that we need to grapple with as AI becomes more powerful and pervasive.
Right, because it's not all sunshine and roses.
Yeah.
There are some potential downsides that we need to be mindful of.
Absolutely. But I think by having these conversations, by being aware of both the potential benefits and risks, we can help shape a future where AI is a force for good.
I like that, a force for good, because ultimately that's what we all want, right?
I think so. But let's move on to another story that highlights some of the challenges we're talking about. This one involves OpenAI and a legal battle brewing in Canada.
Oh yeah, the lawsuit from those Canadian news publishers. They're claiming that OpenAI used their copyrighted content to train ChatGPT without permission.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And it brings up a really thorny issue, the intersection of AI and copyright law.
Because on one hand, you have the publishers arguing that their content is being used without their consent, which, is understandable.
Right. It's their intellectual property. But on the other hand, you have OpenAI claiming that training on publicly available information falls under fair use, which is a legal doctrine that allows for limited use of copyrighted material without permission.
So it's a bit of a gray area.
It is. And the courts are going to have to decide where the line is drawn. And the outcome of this case could have significant implications for how AI is developed and used in the future.
So what's the takeaway for someone who's maybe using AI tools for their own content creation?
Well, I think the big lesson here is to be mindful of copyright law and make sure you're using AI tools responsibly.
Because there could be legal risks involved if you're not careful.
Exactly. So it's always a good idea to do your research and understand the terms of service for any AI tool you're using.
Okay, good advice.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears to something that probably impacted a lot of our listeners directly, Black Friday. Online spending hit a record $10.8 billion, and AI played a major role in that.
Oh, absolutely. AI is quietly revolutionizing the retail industry.
In what ways?
Well, think about all those helpful chatbots you encounter on websites, guiding you through the shopping process. Or those personalized recommendations that seem to know exactly what you're looking for. Those are all powered by AI.
I guess I never really thought about it that way. But it makes sense. They're using AI to make the shopping experience more efficient and engaging.
Exactly. And it's working. Retailers using AI are seeing significant increases in conversion rates, meaning more shoppers are actually clicking that buy button.
So AI is not just about futuristic robots and self-driving cars. It's also about optimizing the way we shop.
Precisely. Over 55% of Black Friday purchases were made on smartphones, which highlights the growing importance of mobile-friendly online experiences.
All right, because people are shopping on the go more than ever before.
And AI can play a key role in making that mobile shopping experience even smoother and more personalized.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI is impacting how we shop, but what about how we work? Our next story focuses on a company that many of us are familiar with, Zoom. They're rebranding themselves as an AI-first company, which is a pretty bold move.
It is, and it shows how seriously they're taking AI. Their new AI companion is a prime example of this shift.
So what exactly is the AI companion? What does it do?
Well, it's basically an AI assistant that lives within Zoom. And it's designed to handle all those little tasks that can eat up your time during the workday, like summarizing meetings, drafting emails, even managing your schedule.
So it's like having a virtual personal assistant to help you be more productive.
Exactly. And Zoom is betting that this will lead to increased efficiency and maybe even make that 4-day work week a reality.
A 4-day work week. Now that would be a game changer.
It would, but it also raises some interesting questions about the future of work. If AI is handling all the routine tasks, what does that mean for us humans?
Right. What skills will we need to thrive in this new world of work?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's one that we need to start thinking about now because AI is going to reshape the way we work, whether we're ready for it or not.
Well, on that note, let's talk about another AI assistant that's making waves. Anthropic's Claude. This one is particularly interesting because it integrates directly with Google Docs.
Yeah, that's a big deal, especially for anyone who spends a lot of time working with documents.
Why is that? What makes this integration so significant?
Well, it's all about real-time data syncing. Claude can access and process information from your Google Docs in real time. So let's say you're in a meeting and you need to pull up some specific data from a document. Instead of wasting time searching for it, you can just ask Claude to do it for you. And it can even summarize key findings or draft responses directly from the document.
So it's like having a research assistant right there in your Google Docs.
Exactly. And for teams collaborating on projects, this kind of real-time integration can really streamline workflows and improve efficiency.
Okay, so we've covered AI's impact on retail, the workplace, and even our daily productivity. Now, get ready for a curveball. Our last story for this segment takes us to a place you might not expect. The oil industry.
It's not the first industry that comes to mind when you think of AI, right?
Not really. But apparently, AI is making a big impact in the Permian Basin, which is one of the world's most productive oil fields.
It is. They're using AI to do all sorts of things, like remotely monitor equipment, detect potential hazards, and optimize drilling operations.
And what's the result of all this?
Well, it's led to significant cost reductions, improved safety, and increased efficiency in oil production. And it's actually played a part in the U.S. becoming the world's leading oil producer.
Wow, I had no idea. So what's the takeaway here? What does this tell us about AI's potential?
I think it shows that AI is not just about flashy tech gadgets. It's about finding practical solutions to real-world problems. And it has the potential to transform virtually any industry, even ones that we don't typically associate with cutting-edge technology.
Okay, so after all these stories, what's the one thing you want our listeners to walk away with today?
That AI is changing everything, and fast. And staying informed about these developments is crucial no matter what field you're in.
Right, because AI is not just something that's happening in the tech world, it's impacting all of us in ways we might not even realize.
Exactly. And by understanding AI's potential, both its benefits and risks, we can be better prepared for the future and hopefully shape it in a way that benefits everyone.
Well said, Chris. Thanks for sharing your insights with us today.
My pleasure. Always a good time.
Now, for our listeners, we've covered a lot of ground in this first segment, but there's so much more to explore. So stay tuned as we continue our deep dive into the world of AI and what it means for you.
Thinking about OpenAI and that billion user goal, it kind of makes you wonder what the world's going to look like when AI is that deeply integrated into our lives.
It's hard to even imagine.
I mean, imagine a world where AI is handling like all the little things, scheduling appointments, managing finances, even personalizing our learning experiences.
It's like having a constantly evolving personal assistant who knows your preferences and anticipates your needs.
Exactly. But, we've got to be careful, too. Like, that lawsuit with the Canadian publishers reminds us that these advancements come with some serious ethical and legal challenges.
Right, because it's not just about what AI can do. It's about what it should do.
Yeah.
How do we make sure it's used responsibly and ethically?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And it's one that we all need to be thinking about. We need to figure out how to deal with things like bias in algorithms and protecting data privacy and making sure people aren't left behind as AI becomes more powerful.
It's a lot to consider. It's like we're trying to walk this tightrope between unleashing AI's potential and making sure it doesn't run off the rails.
And that's where these kinds of conversations come in. The more we understand about AI, its capabilities, and its limitations, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this new landscape.
Well said. Okay, so we've talked about the big picture stuff, but what about how AI is impacting us right now? Like, let's go back to Black Friday for a second. Those AI-powered chatbots and recommendation algorithms might help us find some good deals. But they also raise some interesting questions about consumer behavior and data privacy.
Oh, definitely. Every click, every purchase we make online is feeding into these AI systems. And while that can make shopping more convenient, it also raises concerns about who has access to our data and how it's being used.
It's like this constant tension between convenience and privacy.
I know. And there aren't any easy answers. But the first step is awareness. We need to understand how AI is already being used in our lives so we can make informed choices and demand more transparency and control over our data.
Speaking of control, let's talk about Zoom and their AI companion. While the idea of an AI handling my mundane tasks sounds pretty appealing, it also makes me wonder about what this means for the future of work.
Yeah, the whole 4-day workweek thing is definitely intriguing. But it raises questions about what happens to jobs that become automated and whether we need to rethink how we educate and train people for this AI-powered future.
Because it's not just about if AI can do our jobs. It's about what kind of work we value as humans and how we make sure everyone benefits from these technological advancements.
We need to be proactive about shaping this future with AI, making sure it aligns with our values and creates a world of work that is more equitable and fulfilling for everyone.
Well said. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on Anthropic's Claude and its integration with Google Docs. While it might seem like a pretty niche development, it actually points to a bigger trend of AI becoming more embedded in our everyday workflows.
Absolutely. It's a perfect example of how AI can augment our capabilities instead of just replacing them. Imagine having an AI that helps you analyze data, summarize reports, or even generate creative content, all within the tools you're already using.
It's like having a built-in thought partner to help you think more clearly and work more effectively.
Exactly. But remember, AI is a tool. It's only as good as the person using it. We got to be mindful of its limitations and avoid becoming overly reliant on it. Human judgment and creativity are still essential.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. OpenAI's big plans, the legal battles over AI and copyright AI's impact on Black Friday and the workplace, Zoom's AI makeover Claude and Google Docs, even AI in the oil fields. It's clear that AI is transforming the world in ways we're just beginning to understand.
And throughout it all, we've emphasized the importance of staying informed, asking tough questions, and having these critical discussions about the ethics and the societal implications of these advancements.
Because ultimately, AI isn't just about technology. It's about us and how we use these tools to shape the future we want.
It all comes back to OpenAI and their vision, doesn't it? 1 billion users, AI woven into the fabric of our lives.
It's a pretty wild thought when you really let it sink in.
Right. Like what seemed impossible just a few years ago is suddenly becoming our reality. It makes you wonder what's next.
Exactly. And on that note, I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder. As we wrap up this deep dive, what area of your life or work do you think will be most impacted by AI in the near future?
That's a good one. Take a minute to think about it. Your daily routine, the challenges you face at work or in your personal life, the things you wish you could do better or faster. Could AI play a role in any of that?
You might be surprised by the answer.
I think a lot of people will be. And that's what's so exciting about this moment in time. We're on the verge of something truly transformative. The possibilities are pretty much limitless.
But ultimately, it's up to us to decide how we use this technology to shape the future. We have a responsibility to ensure that AI is used ethically and that its benefits are shared by everyone.
Couldn't agree more. And staying informed, having these conversations, asking tough questions, that's how we make sure that happens.
So a big thank you to Chris Doelle and the AI Simple podcast for inspiring this deep dive.
It was a great one.
And to all of you listening out there, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of AI. We'll see you next time.
Join the Business Success Academy at freshmediaworks.com to connect with like-minded professionals, access essential resources, and stay ahead with the latest strategies for business growth. Visit freshmediaworks.com and click on the Business Success Academy logo to take your next step towards success today.
Please be sure to subscribe and like so that more people can hear the amazing stories that are happening each and every week in artificial intelligence.